Witchy Woo!
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Witchy Woo podcast with me, Kylie Anna. And I want to start by saying I am so excited to be back. I know you may have just listened to the welcome back intro episode, but it feels good to be back. And I'm so excited to be back in your ears and just having this connection with you, because I know a lot of you have reached out in the last sort of 3 months or so that Witchy Woo hasn't been running, and I know that you've missed it just as much as I have. So yay, we are back. And today I want to talk to you about something that I think is really magical, but also quite an essential part of my personal witch story. And obviously, as I say with anything, it has to feel right for you. So what's right for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be something that you're interested in. But for me, this particular topic really helps bring about balance of lots of different energies. And so what we're going to be talking about today is the elements and using elemental magic for your everyday, and for also, any type of spell or, witchcraft thing that you want to use it for. It's a beautiful way for us to connect with nature and also connect with the different energies that come with each of the 4 elements, or 5 elements if you include spirit as one of the elements. And I feel like these elements are more than just forces of nature. They're powerful and they can really help us to develop our magical practice. At least that's what I have found anyway. And when we do learn to work with them with intention as well, the key word is always with intention, we can bring balance and healing, and we can empower our everyday lives. So let's get into it. Why would we want to work with them? The answer, I guess I've kind of given you, but for me, it's really important to have that balance between body, mind, and spirit, but also allowing ourselves to feel into every single one of our energies that we're feeling, every single one of our emotions that we're feeling. And the elements tie in really nicely into this, and they can help us to express ourselves more fully. And they're like an archetype, if you like, of different energies in our lives. And they show up in nature, they show up in our emotions, in the cycles of the moon, in our own personal feminine cycles, and even how we react to everyday challenges. These energies are always present with us. So by understanding them, we can really tap into their energy and use them in different rituals and invite them into our lives for that beautiful harmonious flow that a lot of us love sitting within. So the 4 elements, or as I said, 5 if you're including spirit, but the 4 elements are earth, air, fire, and water. And each of those have different correspondences. And when I say correspondences, they are linked to different parts of life. So with earth, for instance, this is really handy to know if you are someone who likes to have an altar. And actually, sorry, I'm getting completely sidetracked here. Actually, I think I should perhaps do an episode on creating an altar. And when I say altar, it can sometimes sound, especially if you identify as spiritual, but perhaps not quite a witch, creating an altar can perhaps sound a little bit too much. But when I say an altar, it is literally just creating that space for you in the way that you love, that you can go to, and it's almost like a form of self-care, and you can set it up the way that you like it with intentions for everything that you put there. So you may like to add crystals to it. You may like to add the different elements to it. You may like to add different fruits and plants and flowers and herbs. And each of them will have a symbolic meaning for you. So when we are setting our altar, we don't want it to just be for the sake of it, because we we are a witch, and so it feels like we need to have an altar. We always want it to be intentional. And so with the element of earth, this is, so when we set our altar, it's good to have each of the directions in place. So earth, we could sit at the north side of the altar. So if you're thinking, I don't know what direction, each of the places are on my altar, literally on your phone, there will be a compass app. Just get that out and see which direction is north. And in the north spot, you could pop the earth element. It is connected with the season of winter. So right now, as this is being recorded and when it goes out, it is winter at the moment. So we are connected with the earth more at the moment. And the symbols connected are stones and crystals and soils and plants. So, I mean, do we really need an excuse to go and get more crystals? But, winter is the time. If you need an excuse, winter is the time to connect with the beautiful fruits of the earth, including crystals. And the spells and practices that we may like to use if we are connecting with the earth element is abundance rituals, grounding meditations, home protection spells, and all of those things that make us feel stable and they make us feel safe. And you may find that earth shows up in your life in a number of ways. So it can show up when you're feeling grounded and you're feeling secure. Or if you feel a lack of those feelings. So if you're not feeling grounded at the moment, if you're not feeling particularly secure, connecting with the earth is going to really help to bring those feelings to you. Stability in relationship and finances. So earth is when we are feeling balanced with the core of earth, we do have stability in relationships and finances. And the same as I said before, if you are feeling a lack in those areas, then connecting with the earth is going to really help you to balance those parts of your lives. The same with your physical health and your well-being. That is very connected with the element of earth. So when you are feeling balanced in those areas, then you have a good connection with the earth. If you are feeling lacking in those areas, then again, try to connect with the earth in a more intentional way. And connecting with the earth will really help you to feel these emotions or bring balance to these areas of your life. And so there are a few ways that you can connect with the earth. One way that I love to do it is walking barefoot on the grass or on the soil, like literally getting your bare feet onto the grass. And it's almost like an instantaneous, I know that isn't expressing it very well, but that feeling, almost like a relief of, I'm grounded again. I feel safe again. I feel secure again. So if you've never tried walking barefoot on the ground to ground yourself, then give it a go. I highly recommend. Another way that you could do it is, again, coming back to those crystals, you could hold a crystal. Now, with crystals, although I do think they have different vibrations which make them more in tune to certain energies, I genuinely think that your energy, your intuition, will be the best call for what crystal you need. So if you ask yourself, what crystal will I need at the moment to really help to ground me, help me connect with the earth, go with what your gut is telling you. But if you would like to know which crystal has that vibration of helping you connect with the earth, something like darker, so something like a black tourmaline or a smoky quartz, or something that is perhaps reddish in color, but usually the darker the crystal, the more grounding it can be for you. And another really cute way that I think we can connect with the earth is to create a gratitude jar. And in this gratitude jar, we can place notes of blessings into this jar as an offering for the earth. So every time we are feeling grateful for something big, for something small, we want to make sure that we are expressing gratitude for it, because every time we are feeling grateful for absolutely everything, we are telling the universe we would like more of this. And because Earth is so connected to manifesting abundance, it's a really good tool to use to not only express gratitude to feel happier within yourself, but also to express gratitude to help welcome more of that energy towards you. So you could start a jar, and every time something happens, it won't only be a gorgeous practice because of the collection of notes that you'll get, but you'll find yourself noticing things that you feel more grateful for. Like simple little things. I'm really grateful for my warm bed, that I've got a really nice snuggly cover, that I've got a really fluffy pillow that I can lay my head on at night and rest after a busy day. I'm really grateful that I've got running water in the house, because it means that I can have a shower. It means that I can drink the water. It means that I can flush the toilet. All of these things that perhaps we take for granted, all of us will do it at some point. Just really connect with everything. When you walk into a room, think to yourself, what am I really grateful for? And allow yourself to identify each of those things. And the more that we are raising our vibration through that gratitude, the more that we are putting ourselves in that space where we are really open to manifesting exactly what it is that we want. So if you wanted kind of a ritual idea to really help you connect with the earth element, then you could try this really simple task. And it's literally just sitting outside, or you don't even have to be outside. You could be inside your house and visualizing the ground below you, but just put your hands on the ground, whether it's on the floor, ideally outside, but obviously it is cold at the moment, so you may not want to sit on the ground outside at the moment. So in your house is absolutely fine. And close your eyes and just imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet and from the palms of your hands, and really connecting with the earth, anchoring you down into the earth. And just take a few breaths, and you can breathe slowly and make sure that you really feel every part of your breath. And you could say something along the lines of, earth, ground me, support me, bring me stability and abundance, show gratitude to the earth. Thank you for bringing these energies and wrapping me with them. And just notice the difference before you do that task and then after you do it, and see what has changed in your energy. And I'm betting that you will feel more secure, and you will feel less anxious, and you will feel more at ease with everything. And it's a really good way to set up your day as well. So that is the element of earth. And next we're going to move on to the element of air. And just like we went through the different correspondences for earth, air also has different correspondences. So like I said, earth was related to north. Air is related to east. So if on your altar, or not even just your altar, you may want to, like in my house, I have it set up so that my whole house is kind of vibrating at the vibration that I want it to. So not just on your altar, but perhaps in the east side of your house. Again, you can use your compass app if you're not sure which direction is east in your house, and just allow all of the elements of air to be placed into that direction of east on your altar and the very east of your house. The season that is connected with is spring. Now, with all of these, obviously you want to connect with each of the elements in every single season. So I'm not saying that because the correspondence is spring, it means that you have to wait till spring to connect with the air. It's healthy and it's good for us to connect with each of the elements all the time, but you may feel that your connection with air is heightened at the time of spring. And the symbols that you may be able to use to help you connect with air more are things like feathers and incense, your breath, the wind. All those sorts of things will help you connect with air. And the spells and practices that are associated with air are manifestation, especially through the spoken word, obviously through our breath, and affirmations and breath work. So when you are working with the element of air, you may find yourself called to use those modalities to be able to help you. And air's the element of thought, of inspiration and communication. And it's all about new ideas and mental clarity and expressing yourself fully. And just think how a deep breath can instantly calm you. Like, I can't even remember what it was. It was on this episode, but earlier on in the episode, I mentioned about, I think it was when I was talking about going outside and grounding yourself by standing barefoot. Just that action made me, and after taking that deep breath, you do feel instantaneously better. You know, like if you're working yourself up and you're feeling really anxious, and I think we can all do it from time to time, where we then start overthinking. We get in our own heads and we start overthinking, and the worst case scenarios keep being played out. If we just take a moment to come back to our breath, come back to the here and now, remind us that these scenarios that we're playing out in our heads aren't where we are right now. So it's okay for us to take a step back. It really can make a huge difference. Just a couple of deep breaths. So I highly recommend it. And yeah, so air will show up in your life in a number of ways. So when you have clear thinking and mental focus on a task, you are connected, you are at one with air. If you're finding that these areas of your life are in lack, try to connect with air. So if you are balanced, you will feel inspired ideas and creativity surrounding you. Again, if you are feeling that there is a lack around these areas of your life, then perhaps try connecting with air and calling on those energies. And honest communication and speaking your truth. So again, very connected with our throat chakra, with our voice, with our breath. And our throat chakra is all about being who we truly are and being honest with ourselves and with others and speaking that truth. So if you are feeling that you're struggling in that area of your life at the moment, then again, call on air to be able to help you with this. And if you're feeling really great and balanced in that area of your life at the moment, then you are probably connected with the air element really well at the moment. So if you are feeling that little bit of lack, or if you just want to kind of practice connecting with air, there's a few things that you could try. So something as simple as lighting incense or burning herbs like sage or lavender or rosemary, whatever herb you feel called to burn, you can burn it. And a good way of doing this, if it is just like the dried herbs that you have, rather than just setting light to it, you can get like charcoal discs, and that's what I like to use in my spells. And you light the charcoal disc and it gets really, really hot, and then you can sprinkle the herbs on top of it and it will start to burn, start to smoke away, and you'll get obviously the lovely scent from the herbs, and you'll know that it's working its magic because it will be smoking. And that's a really good way to connect with air. You could spend time in fresh air, and even just going for a 5-minute walk, just feeling that fresh air hitting your lungs, or even, if you aren't able to go for a walk, just sitting outside, taking a few deep breaths, perhaps leaving the technology, leaving your phone inside the house for like 5 minutes, going for a walk or going to sit outside and just being with your thoughts, and again, coming back to the breath. That can really help you to connect with air. And the last one is breathwork or meditation. Now, I love breathwork, and I tend to always combine it very simply within my guided meditations. At the start and at the end, it's like a must for me. There's often breathwork in the middle when we are sending healing and, using our breath to call on the healing. But always at the start to ground us, to bring us back to the here and now, there are a couple of deep breaths and always at the end. So again, it's all about the breath, and follow your intuition with it as well. Really, like, I have never actually formally trained in anything breath work. Although I feel really, really called to it, I've never formally trained, but it's just always been a part of my practice. Whenever I'm self-healing, whenever I'm sending healing to other people, I will always use my breath to call in the healing and also to send out the healing, to literally, pull it into my body and push it out of my body. And how the frequency that I send the healing at will change the pattern of my breath. And so, yeah, I won't get too into it because that's probably a whole episode in itself, but just work with your breath and don't feel that there has to be a set way of doing things. Just know that your breath alone is really, really powerful, and your voice alone is really, really powerful. And so if you wanted to try a quick ritual to help you connect with the element of air, you could write down something that you want to release. It could be a self-doubt, it could be a limiting belief, just some kind of energy that you feel, actually, I'm over this now and it's time for me to move on. And in order to move on, I have to be able to release this thing. And then go outside. It would be perfect if it was like a breezy day. That would be ideal. But obviously, in winter in England, it's likely there is going to be some kind of breeze in the air. And just hold on to your paper. And you could say to yourself, air, carry away what no longer serves me. And you could let the wind take the piece of paper, or you could burn the piece of paper. Now, I'm a huge fan of burning paper, not just not just for the sake of burning paper, but during spell work, like writing my spell and burning it, or writing what I'm ready to release and then burning it, or writing my intentions and then burning it. And for me, we'll obviously get onto fire, but the transformation and the alchemy of having it written down and then alchemizing it into almost like dust that goes into the universe, that like now it's there, now it's out there. So I'm a huge fan of that. So I spoke about fire. Let's move on to fire. And fire is like pure energy. It's all about passion, it's all about drive, it's all about like our personal power, and it's the spark of that creation, and it's all about transformation as well. And fire can be, as we know, both destructive but also empowering, and it burns away what no longer serves us, but it also can ignite new possibilities. So in terms of the correspondences for fire, the direction is south. So again, if you want to place something that represents fire on your altar, it's a good idea to really make the most of it, to put it in the south position or the south of your house. And when I say fire, obviously things like candles. I'm sure that you don't actually want to start a fire in your house at that point, but candles are a good one. The season that it's connected with is summer, of course. It's the hottest. The sun is, shining down on us in all of its glory. And the symbols that it's connected with are, as I said, candles, flames, and sun energy. So the spells and practices that fire is usually associated with is candle magic and confidence building spells and releasing old patterns through burning rituals. So you can kind of feel the different energies as we go through from earth to air to fire, how each of those show up in our lives and how each of them can be powerful in their own rights. So how does fire, or the connections with fire, show up in our lives? So one way may be through our motivation and our ambition. So if you are feeling really motivated and really ambitious at the moment, the chances are you're balanced in, with your connection with fire at the moment. With emotional intensity and courage, it shows up. So if you're feeling really courageous if you're feeling that emotional intensity at the moment, and when I say emotional intensity, it's like in the best possible way, you're really feeling into your emotions and allowing yourself to express them, all of them, in a healthy manner that serves you, then you're probably balanced with the element of fire. And the last one, if you are transforming your challenges into your growth. So whenever we are going through challenging times, we obviously, when we're in the thick of it, it feels really, really horrible, and we don't like going through the difficult bits. But they tend to be the parts of our lives when we reflect back, they are the the most transformational parts of our story, and they are the catalysts for growth and for us really making a change that transforms our lives for the better. So if you are at the moment transforming your challenges into your growth and learning from them, then chances are you're balanced with the energy of fire. Now, if with any of those you are feeling a lack, so with motivation, ambition, emotional intensity and courage, and transforming challenges into growth, then you may like to call on fire and to call on its core energy to be able to bring those areas of your life into balance. So how can we connect with fire? One way is to light a candle with intention. And this is like the simplest thing that we can do, but it's one of my go-tos. I mean, I love candle magic anyway. Most of the spells that I do will involve candle magic, but simply lighting a candle. So for instance, whenever I am doing a reading or a healing, whether it be for myself or for a client or for friends and family, then I will always light a candle to signify the beginning of the reading or of the healing. And for me, that's symbolic, like I'm bringing myself here. My intention is there that I'm going to send this reading, I'm going to send this healing. It's going to be transformational. So it's a really simple way. If you have an intention, if there's something that you want to call on, especially if it's relating to the energies that I spoke about a moment ago, just lighting a candle and intending to connect with those parts of yourselves can be really powerful. And it's you showing the universe, I'm ready. I'm ready to connect. So another way that you can do it is through practicing solar meditations by soaking up the sun's energy. Now, obviously, if you are listening to this at the time of it being released, we are midwinter. So you, in England at least, you are not going to want to go and sunbathe. But being in the sun can really, like people get the winter blues. The sun can really affect our energy, and not just physically, it can really affect our emotional well-being as well. When it is really rainy and gloomy, especially if it's been like that for a few days, often our moods will drop because everything's wet and everything's, just not nice to be out in. Whereas when it's like pure sunshine, it feels happier and it feels lighter, and it just feels happier in the world. It feels like Mother Nature is happy within herself. So, during winter, when you perhaps don't want to go and soak in the rays, then just connecting with the sun through meditation, through intention, just through visualization. Imagine yourself laid there and the sun beaming down on you and just soaking in all of her goodness is one way to connect. And another way is to engage in something creative that really excites you. So with fire being so connected with your purpose and your calling and igniting the new creations, think about, what do I really enjoy doing? What hobby do I have that would really help me call on this fun and this creativity from fire? And so by doing these things, we can call ourselves into balance with fire to help ourselves in this area of life. And if you did want a fire ritual idea, one way that we can call on fire, call on the motivation, is light a candle and then stare into the flame. And just think about something that you're ready to take action on. And you may like to say, burn away my fear and doubt. Let the flame inspire you to move forward. So just allowing that flame in, allowing that flame to come into your world and ignite and burn away the fear and doubt, then you are calling that part of yourself into balance. And then we move on to the final element, which is water. And this is all connected with your emotions, healing, your intuition. And, you know, the water flows and it cleanses and it nurtures. And just think about how a soothing warm bath, how that feels, or, you know, like the sound of raindrops against the window, how calming that can be. And water is all about embracing change and trusting your emotional journey. If you imagine like a water flow, a river and water, I suppose, water is in a river, it all flows naturally. It goes with the natural currents. It goes with the natural tides, and it just flows with ease. That is how we feel when we are connected to the element of water. So when it comes to water, the direction is west for your altar and for the direction in your house. The season that it's connected to is autumn. So you may find an intensity during autumn to want to work with water. The symbols that are connected to water are things like actual water, so like a bowl of water. Especially moon water is fantastic to work with. So when I say moon water, it's literally just water that you have placed into a jar, preferably like a glass jar, and popped onto your windowsill under moonlight. And I do mine under the moonlight, under a full moon. I also do mine when the weather is stormy, because I absolutely love storms. And for me, they're really powerful, and I just feel really connected with the chaos of the storm. Now, not everyone feels the same. I know some people have fears surrounding storms. So obviously, if you are one of those people, do not charge your water in the storm energy, because it's not going to be the energy that you want to align with. And if you do that, then charging it under the moonlight and then drinking it in the morning, or using it to wash your hands with or wash your hair with, you know, you kind of pour it over yourself or pour it into yourself. Things like seashells, things like the moon are connected. And when it comes to spells and practices, emotional healing is really connected with water, as is intuition and, you know, cleansing baths. Again, water. So how does water show up in our lives? Through our emotional healing and release. So if we feel that actually at the moment I am allowing myself to emotionally heal, I am allowing myself to release anything that I'm ready to let go of, then chances are you do feel balanced with the element of water. Then the heightened intuition and the psychic awareness that comes along with the water. If you are feeling particularly intuitive and feel that your psychic awareness is at a high, then again, you're probably very balanced with the element of water at the moment. And if you feel the ability to adapt and go with the flow, if you are feeling very flexible at the moment and kind of like within that feminine flow of just trusting that whatever comes your way is meant for you, and so you will go with it without fear, without anxiety, you're probably feeling very balanced with water. But if you are feeling a lack in any of these areas that I've mentioned, then perhaps you may like to take some time just to connect with the element of water and call that into your life so that you are feeling more balanced in those areas. So ways that we can connect with the elements of water is taking a cleansing ritual bath. So I think this is one of the most beautiful ways to connect with water and to cleanse ourselves, not just physically, but also spiritually. And you can pop some nice herbs in there. You could pop some Epsom salt, which isn't just good physically for like aches and pains, but it does also help to spiritually cleanse as well. You could pop some like lavender if you want to have a really good night's sleep, some chamomile to calm you, ready for sleep. Whatever herbs you feel called to add, some nice rose petals to welcome in that beautiful self-love. Another way is to meditate near water. That would be the preference, like near natural water as well. So like lakes or rivers, but also like meditating near water. Literally, if you had like a bath or while you're in the bath, having your cleansing kind of ritual bath, meditate as well. And that'll be even more powerful because you're sitting within the water. Or if you don't feel aligned to that, even things like listening to the sound of rain while you meditate, anything water related. And working with the moon can really help you connect with water as well, especially moon water that I spoke about earlier. So you can fill a jar, leave it on your windowsill to bathe in the moonlight, and then drink the following day, or use to wash your hair. Just cool that water in. But once you put the water in the jar and you pop it onto your windowsill, set an intention for it. So with this particular exercise, you may want to set the intention of helping you connect with the energy of water and welcome that healing, that intuition, that psychic awareness, and that adaptability, calling that into your life. So that is the intention that gets charged under the moonlight. And then when you drink it in, you're literally taking that intention and bringing it into your body. So it's very powerful, very powerful stuff. So if you wanted to connect with water more, there's a simple ritual that you can do, which we have spoken about, just running a warm bath and adding any herbs or salt or anything that you feel called to. You may like to light some candles. Obviously that is the element of fire and also the element of wind from the smoke as well. You may like to add essential oils for the aroma, and just as you lay there, imagine that the water is washing away any emotional heaviness. And you might like to say something like, water cleanse me, heal me, renew my spirit. And then when you pull the plug out, as you are watching the water kind of drain away, allow yourself to imagine the water carrying away your worries, carrying away those parts that you're ready to release, especially when it comes to your emotions. So how do you know which element you might need more of in your life? So here's a quick way that you can check in to see. So you could ask yourself now, as we're going through this, am I feeling stuck or uninspired at the moment? If the answer is yes to that, then you may need air's clarity. Now ask yourself, am I feeling emotionally drained at the moment? Allow whatever's coming to come up. And if the answer is yes, water can soothe and heal. Now ask yourself, am I feeling scattered or overwhelmed at the moment? If yes, earth can help to ground you. Am I feeling unmotivated or stagnant at the moment? If yes, fire can reignite that passion within you. And working with the elements, it's not about perfection. We are, of course, never the finished article, but it is about noticing where you're out of balance and inviting that energy back into your life if you feel called to do that. So I thought it'd be a really nice way to close the session if we just closed our eyes, if it's safe to do so. Obviously, if you are listening to this and driving, please do not close your eyes, but just for a minute, just to close down our eyes and connect with those elements. So close your eyes for a minute and take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, and in through your nose, and out through your mouth. And feel the earth beneath you. Feel it supporting you. Feel the air filling your lungs and clearing your mind. Feel the warmth of the fire in your heart, igniting your passion. Feel the flow of water washing over you, calming and renewing your spirit. Earth, air, fire, water. Thank you for your wisdom, your power, and your presence. So it is. And you can open your eyes and just notice how you feel now that you have taken a moment to just connect with each of the elements. So if you would like to focus on this more, if you would like to experience an extended version of the guided meditation, then head on into our next episode where you will find a gorgeous, relaxing guided meditation that is really going to help you connect fully with each of the 4 elements. And as always, I really hope that you've enjoyed today's episode. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and how you like to connect with the elements. So please feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, Kyliana. Come and join our Witchy Woo community. All the links will be down in the show notes. And until the next time, I'll speak to you soon.
Witchy Woo!